Okay, so today's deep dive, well, this one is exciting. We're stepping into some uncharted territory. We're going to be talking about the celestial artisans,
Yeah.
as described in the Urantia book, specifically in paper 44. Now, I have to admit, when I first came across this section, my mind was kind of blown. I mean, we've talked about angels before.
Right.
We've talked about all sorts of celestial beings. But this is a whole new level of cosmic creativity we're diving into here.
It really is.
And it really makes you look at the spiritual realm in a whole new light.
It does. It's not just about these sort of hierarchies of angels that we often think about. It's about this incredible creative energy that infuses the entire spiritual universe.
So true.
Yeah.
So for those who are maybe just joining us on this journey, what are we even talking about here? What are celestial artisans? I mean, the name itself sparks curiosity. It sounds like a cosmic art exhibit you'd find in like the central universe or something.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like if you can imagine taking everything we understand about art here on Earth, music, painting, sculpture, and amplifying it to this unimaginable degree, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. These are beings who are described as masters of their craft.
Right.
But their materials, their mediums, are things like spiritual light and sound, even thought itself. They shape the Urantia realms, the lower spirit realms, in ways that we can barely even conceive of.
Yeah. It's like they're working with a completely different set of tools and materials. It's not just paintbrushes and clay for them.
Yeah.
It's you read about these incredible creations and it really makes you wonder, like, what does a spirit palace even look like? And these artisans are designing them.
Right, right. And it's not just buildings either. It's entire environments, gardens, landscapes, places of learning, places of worship,
Right.
places of play. It's really quite amazing.
It's like they're designing entire realities and we're stuck here with interior decorators.
Yeah.
No offense to interior decorators. They do great work.
They have their place.
But this is next level. But it begs the question, where do these celestial artisans even come from? Are they like born with these incredible talents? Or is there like a cosmic art school they have to attend?
Well, from what I understand, it's kind of both. The book talks about how these artisans are drawn from all over the grand universe. You've got ascending mortals like us,
Right.
who maybe had a passion for art in their earthly life.
Okay, so that's hopeful.
You've got spiritual beings from various origins, even personalities native to the central universe,
Wow.
who have this innate understanding of beauty and harmony.
So it's like a melting pot of creative talent from across the cosmos all coming together in these Urantia realms.
Yeah, and it's not just a random gathering either. They actually have a pretty structured training program, you could say. The book mentions these 7,000 Havona instructors, who are like the ultimate masters of their crafts. And they've set up this incredible system of education and mentorship. So those who are really serious about pursuing a career, so to speak, in celestial artistry, they go through extensive periods of study and apprenticeship under these masters.
So even in the spiritual realm, you've got to put in the work, you've got to pay your dues if you want to reach those higher levels of creativity.
Seems like it, yeah.
There's no shortcuts,
Yeah.
even in the afterlife.
No cosmic shortcuts.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm going to keep practicing my ukulele skills just in case.
Right, never know.
But you mentioned that these celestial artisans are organized into different groups. Can we dive into that a little bit? Because I'm curious, like, what kind of specializations do they have within this this cosmic art department, so to speak?
Absolutely, yeah. The book outlines 7 main divisions of celestial artisans, each with their own unique focus and area of expertise. It's really quite fascinating. You've got the celestial musicians who work with spiritual sound and light to create these incredible symphonies and harmonies. Then there's the heavenly reproducers. Now, these guys are interesting.
I'm intrigued already.
They're like the cosmic historians, the storytellers of the spiritual realm. They can actually recreate historical events or even personal experiences using, again, these higher forms of energy and perception.
So they're like living, breathing history books. But instead of just reading about the past, you can actually experience it firsthand.
Yeah, it's like a fully immersive, multi-sensory experience beyond anything we can imagine here.
Wow. Okay, I'm already trying to figure out which historical event I'd want to relive if I ever get the chance. But let's see, who else is on this cosmic creative team?
Well, we've got the divine builders,
Okay.
who, as their name suggests, are the architects and designers of the spiritual realms. They're the ones responsible for creating those incredible structures and environments that we were talking about earlier.
So you're telling me there are beings out there whose sole job is to design celestial palaces and gardens that are more beautiful than anything we can fathom. Talk about a dream job.
Right.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just, picking out the right shade of cosmic blue or finding the perfect celestial fountain for the courtyard.
Oh, absolutely. It's about understanding the needs and experiences of spirit beings on a whole different level and creating environments that foster their growth and development. It's really quite something.
Yeah. I'm getting the feeling that this is where our human understanding of art and design kind of breaks down, doesn't it? It becomes something much more profound, much more multidimensional.
It really does. Yeah, and we're just scratching the surface here.
Right. We've got a lot more to unpack.
Yeah, we've still got the thought reporters.
Okay.
Who preserve all of the knowledge and wisdom of the universe.
So like the cosmic librarians.
In a way, yeah. But instead of books, they work with pure thought.
Pure thought. Okay, now my brain is officially starting to hurt. How do you even begin to wrap your mind around that?
It's definitely a head-scratcher.
And what about these energy manipulators? I've got to admit, that name sounds a little intense. Are we talking like cosmic explosions and black holes here? What's their deal?
Well, they certainly deal with some powerful forces. They're the ones who understand how to harness and direct the various energies that make up the spiritual realms.
Quite.
Physical energies, mindal energies, spiritual energies.
So like the electricians of the cosmos, making sure all the lights stay on.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They're also responsible for things like communication networks, transportation systems.
So they're like the engineers and architects of the spiritual realm's infrastructure.
You could say that, yeah. And then we have the designers and embellishers.
Okay, now that one sounds right up my alley. I'm a sucker for a little embellishment.
Right. Well, these artisans, they're all about adding those finishing touches, those details that elevate something from beautiful to breathtaking. They work with color, texture, sound, light.
So if the divine builders create the canvas, these artisans add the details that make it a masterpiece.
Exactly.
I can't even imagine what a celestial sunset must look like with their touch. But I'm sensing there's one group left. And given that we just saved the best, or maybe the most mysterious, for last, what can you tell us about the harmony workers?
Ah, yes, the harmony workers. They're a little harder to pin down.
I bet. Their name alone suggests they're working with forces that are beyond our comprehension.
It does, doesn't it? They're described as working with these higher cosmic principles of truth, beauty, goodness.
Okay.
And somehow they weave them together into a unified expression of harmony.
It's like they're taking all these different aspects of reality, all these seemingly separate threads, and they're finding a way to connect them to create something whole and beautiful and meaningful out of it all.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. They're like the ultimate artists, revealing the hidden patterns and connections that bind the universe together.
It's like they can see the big picture, the grand design of it all, in a way that we can only catch glimpses of.
Exactly. And their work has a profound impact on all the other artisans, on all of creation, really.
Wow. So we've got these 7 divisions of celestial artisans, each with their own unique talents and areas of expertise, all working together to create and shape the spiritual realms in ways that we can barely comprehend.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but in a good way.
Me too.
Like our concept of reality just got a whole lot bigger and more beautiful, I think.
Definitely more beautiful.
But I'm also wondering, if these artisans are so focused on these higher realms, what do they have to do with us down here? I mean, do they even know we exist?
That's a question I think many of us ask ourselves, isn't it? Like, with all this cosmic creativity going on, do our little lives here on Earth even matter in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah. And the Urantia book actually offers a rather surprising answer to that question.
It does.
It turns out we're not as disconnected from these celestial artists as we might think.
Not at all.
So we've been talking about these incredible celestial artisans, these masters of their craft, who are shaping the spiritual realms in ways we can barely comprehend. But here's a thought that really blows my mind. What if they weren't just working up there in those higher realms? What if they were somehow connected to us right here, right now?
That's a question that's intrigued spiritual seekers for ages, hasn't it? And it turns out the Urantia book offers some fascinating insights into this very idea. While those celestial artisans might primarily focus their talents on the Urantia and spirit realms, they haven't exactly forgotten about us down here in the material world.
Okay, so how does that connection work? Are they sending us telepathic design tips or something? I'm trying to picture how a being who builds with spiritual light could possibly influence my very messy attempt at pottery.
Well, it's probably a bit more nuanced than a direct line of celestial design feedback, though I'd love to be proven wrong on that one. But on a serious note, the book suggests that the celestial artisans often work through intermediaries to influence our world.
Intermediaries. You mean like those friends who always seem to know the perfect thing to say to get your creative juices flowing? My friend Sarah is convinced she's got a direct line to the muse. Maybe she's on to something.
Perhaps she is. But in this context, the book specifically points to our celestial helpers, the angels, as playing a key role. You know those moments when an idea seems to appear out of thin air, or you suddenly feel this inexplicable surge of motivation to create? The book suggests that might be more than just a caffeine rush or a stroke of good luck.
So you're saying those aha moments, those bursts of inspiration, might actually be whispers from the cosmos, a gentle nudge from those celestial collaborators. That's both humbling and empowering at the same time. But if they're working through angels who are already pretty incredible beings in their own right, why involve the celestial artisans at all? It seems like a lot of celestial power for a simple spark of inspiration.
It's a good question, and the book actually offers a clue. It highlights that this guidance is particularly potent for individuals who possess both natural talent and what it calls adjusters of special and previous experience.
So break that down for me. What does that even mean?
Essentially, it suggests that our thought adjusters, those divine fragments residing within each of us, might play a role in this connection. It's not just about raw talent or even hard work. It's about a kind of cosmic resonance, a connection to something far greater than ourselves.
So it's like having the perfect blend of ingredients, your natural abilities, your passions and interests, and then this incredible cosmic backing these whispers of guidance from those who understand the grand symphony of creation on a whole other level.
Exactly. It's like having the universe's most encouraging art teacher by your side, gently guiding your hand, helping you see the potential in every brushstroke.
Okay, now that's a beautiful thought. But if I'm being honest, this whole concept is a little intimidating too. What if you're not some kind of artistic prodigy? What if you're just an average person who enjoys dabbling in creativity? Is there even a point in trying if you don't have those celestial spotlight shining down on you?
And that's where the book offers a truly reassuring perspective. It emphasizes that there's no judgment, no hierarchy in how these artisans approach their work, and by extension, how they inspire us.
So it's not like there's a limited supply of celestial inspiration with only the chosen few getting a dose of cosmic guidance.
Not at all. The book makes it clear that this creative impulse, this desire to express ourselves and connect with beauty, is an inherent part of our being, a reflection of the divine within each of us.
So it's not about achieving some kind of flawless uniform perfection in our creative endeavors. It's about each of us finding our own unique voice, our own way of adding to the beauty of existence.
Precisely. The book emphasizes that every act of creation, no matter how seemingly small or insignificant, contributes to the richness and complexity of the cosmos. It's about embracing the joy of the creative process itself, the act of expressing that spark of divinity within us rather than striving for some external measure of success or recognition.
I love that. So you're saying even my slightly lopsided pottery mugs have a place in this grand cosmic art exhibit.
Absolutely. It's not about the materials we use or the final product we create. It's about the act of creation itself, the willingness to tap into that wellspring of inspiration and allow it to flow through us.
That's incredibly liberating when you really think about it. It takes the pressure off needing to be good and allows us to simply enjoy the process of creating. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If those celestial artisans are so invested in our creative expression, even while we're still bound to these material forms, what happens to that creative impulse when we transition to those higher realms? Do we just stop creating altogether because we've somehow reached peak creativity?
That's a question that I imagine many of us ponder, and thankfully the book doesn't leave us completely in the dark. While it doesn't provide a step-by-step guide to post-mortal artistic pursuits, it does offer some tantalizing clues.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me those clues. Does my artistic journey continue after this life?
That's what the book seems to suggest. It assures us that our longing for creative expression, our desire to explore new avenues of artistry, doesn't simply vanish when we shed these physical bodies.
So those unrealized dreams, those projects we always wanted to tackle but never got around to, they don't just evaporate. Do they get like a plasmic upgrade or something?
That's a fantastic way to put it. The book even goes so far as to say that before we even leave the local universe, before we embark on our spirit careers, we will be satiated with respect to every intellectual, artistic, and social longing we've ever had.
Wait, back up a second. Satiated?
Yeah.
You're not just talking a small bite of satisfaction here, right?
Yeah.
You're talking the whole darn buffet of creative fulfillment, like finally getting to indulge in every flavor of that cosmic ice cream we were discussing earlier.
That's exactly the image the book evokes. It suggests that in those realms, we'll not only have the desire, but also the opportunity to fully immerse ourselves in those creative impulses, to dive headfirst into those artistic pursuits that we may have only glimpsed during our material lives.
Okay, so we're all given unlimited access to the universe's grandest art studio, equipped with every tool and material imaginable, and we have eons to explore. But here's the thing that's been bouncing around in my head. If everyone's creatively fulfilled in this way, does that mean we all just end up creating the same things? Do we all just become generic artists, churning out identical cosmic masterpieces because we've somehow achieved this kind of uniform perfection?
That's a common concern, but the book is quick to address it. While it emphasizes this leveling up in terms of opportunity and fulfillment, it also acknowledges that individual expression, that unique essence that makes you you, doesn't just disappear.
So it's not about everyone becoming a virtuoso playing the same cosmic harp with the same level of skill.
Right.
It's still about finding our own unique notes in that grand symphony of creation.
That's the beautiful paradox, isn't it? The book specifically states that this equality of creative opportunity doesn't equate to the complete obliteration of characteristic individuality and skill technique and expression. We retain our unique quirks, our individual styles, even as we reach these higher levels of creative fulfillment.
So even though we're all given those cosmic paintbrushes and endless canvases, some of us might still prefer finger painting to, say, recreating the Big Bang in watercolors.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between individual expression and cosmic harmony, about realizing our unique potential within the context of something much larger than ourselves.
That's such a reassuring thought. It's not some sterile utopia where every creation looks the same.
Oh.
It's more like this vibrant tapestry of individual expression, all these unique threads woven together into a breathtaking work of cosmic art.
A beautiful analogy. And it speaks to a profound truth about our journey through the universe, both here and in those realms beyond. It's all about growth, exploration, and the endless pursuit of creative expression.
That's a powerful thought to sit with. But before we get lost in contemplation, there's one more group of celestial artisans we haven't touched on yet, the harmony workers. They seem to be the most mysterious of all.
They are indeed. Even the Urantia book speaks of them with a sense of awe and reverence, describing them as working with forces and energies that are nearly impossible to grasp from our limited human perspective.
So how do we even begin to understand what they do? What clues does the book offer?
It describes them as the ultimate weavers of reality, those who take the threads of truth, beauty, goodness, even justice, and intertwine them into a unified expression of cosmic harmony.
So they're like the cosmic conductors, bringing together all these different elements of existence into a single harmonious symphony.
That's a wonderful way to visualize it. They reveal the hidden connections between seemingly disparate aspects of the cosmos, showing us that there's an underlying order, a grand design to it all.
It's like they're revealing the inherent beauty and elegance of the universe's grand blueprint. But how do they do it? What tools do they use?
That remains a mystery, shrouded in the kind of wonder that both inspires and challenges us. But perhaps that's the point, isn't it? To remind us that there's always more to discover, more to learn, more to experience.
It's like we've been handed a cosmic jigsaw puzzle with like a billion pieces, and we're just starting to figure out where some of the edges go. But even those few connections hint at this much grander, more intricate picture.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that makes studying these more, shall we say, abstract concepts from the Urantia book so intriguing. It's not always about finding definitive answers. It's about expanding our capacity to ask bigger and better questions.
I completely agree. And this whole concept of the harmony workers, the way they bring together these fundamental aspects of reality, truth, beauty, goodness, even justice, it makes you wonder, are those elements interconnected here in our material world in ways we don't fully grasp? I mean, we tend to separate those things, compartmentalize them. But what if, like, the beauty of a work of art is somehow inseparable from its inherent truth or the goodness it inspires?
Now you're really getting to the heart of it. Because the Urantia book suggests that these cosmic principles, these building blocks of reality that the harmony workers utilize, they're not just abstract concepts floating around in some distant realm. They're woven into the very fabric of existence, even down here on our humble planet.
Okay, so then how come we're so bad at seeing those connections? Are we just missing the forest for the trees? So caught up in our limited perspectives that we can't grasp the bigger picture?
It's probably a bit of that, yeah. We're limited by our material senses, our linear way of thinking. But the book also suggests there's a process of growth involved. As we progress, both individually and as a civilization, we become more attuned to those subtle connections, those underlying harmonies.
So it's like we're learning to see the world through the eyes of those celestial artisans bit by bit.
Exactly. We're developing a greater appreciation for the interconnectedness of all things, the way beauty and truth and goodness can weave together to create something truly magnificent.
Okay, that's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think, doesn't it? If we're capable of tapping into those harmonies, even in small ways, what kind of impact could that have on our world? I mean, imagine if we approached challenges, conflicts, even just our daily interactions with that awareness, that sensitivity to the interconnectedness of it all.
It's a vision of a very different kind of world, isn't it? One where understanding and compassion guide our actions, where we seek harmony rather than division. And who knows, maybe those celestial artisans, those masters of cosmic beauty and order, maybe they're rooting for us to make that leap, to bring those higher principles down to earth and make them a reality in our own lives.
What a hopeful thought. And maybe a little daunting too, right? It's like, no pressure, folks, but the fate of the cosmos might just depend on our ability to tap into our inner harmony workers. But on a more practical note, what can we do? How do we cultivate that awareness, that sensitivity to the interconnectedness of everything in a way that actually translates to our daily lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I don't think there's one easy answer. But if we look to the celestial artisans for inspiration, perhaps it begins with approaching life as an act of creation itself. Not just in the traditional sense of painting or music, but in everything we do, in how we interact with others, how we care for our environment, how we choose to think and feel and respond to the world around us.
So it's about bringing that intentionality, that creativity, that awareness of those cosmic connections to every aspect of our lives.
Precisely. It's about seeing the beauty and potential in every moment, every encounter, and striving to express those higher principles in all that we do.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's like we've been given this incredible toolbox, this cosmic set of skills and principles, and it's up to us to figure out how to use them, how to create something beautiful and meaningful with them.
And who knows, maybe, just maybe, in those moments of creativity, of connection, of expressing those higher ideals, we're not just creating a better world for ourselves, but also adding our own unique note to the grand symphony of the cosmos.
That's a beautiful thought to end on, and I think we've definitely given our listeners a lot to ponder today. So until next time, keep those creative sparks flying and never underestimate the power of your own unique contribution to the grand cosmic tapestry. This is your host, signing off for now.